Today we need to talk about a prediction. It's one of the boldest, most specific, and frankly, most important predictions in the entire world of artificial intelligence. It's a date that could literally be a turning point for all of humanity.
And that date is 2028. Yeah, we're talking just a few short years away. And it's the year that one of AI's most important pioneers believes we have a coin flip chance of achieving artificial general intelligence.
And there it is, Shane Legg, a co-founder and the chief AGI scientist at Google DeepMind. He's not saying it's a certainty, but he's saying the next few years are basically a coin toss that could fundamentally change our world forever.
Okay, so let's dive into this. Who is Shane Legg? And in a field that is absolutely flooded with predictions, why should we take this one so seriously?
Well, for starters, Legg is not some newcomer who just hopped on the AI hype train. This is the guy who co-founded DeepMind. He's been laser-focused on AGI for more than 20 years. In fact, his PhD thesis, way back in 2008, was literally called Machine Superintelligence. So yeah, when someone with that kind of deep background makes a call this big, the industry tends to sit up and listen.
But here's what's really fascinating. This is not a recent hot take. He didn't just cook this up after ChatGPT blew up. Legg first put this timeline together way back in 2001 and formally published it in 2009, long before the deep learning revolution really kicked into high gear. And for over 2 decades, he has barely wavered from that belief.
So you have to ask, how did he land on this date so early and stick with it for so long? Well, it wasn't a guess. It was based on his observation of a powerful feedback loop, an engine of progress driven by 3 key pillars.
Even back in the early 2000s, Legg saw this perfect storm brewing. First, exponential compute, processing power just getting faster and faster. Second, exponential data, this growing ocean of digital information. And third, he knew that these 2 forces would create a massive economic incentive to build scalable algorithms that could actually use all that power and data. And this is the engine right here. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. The better our algorithms get, the more valuable compute and data become. That attracts more money and more talent, which in turn leads to, you guessed it, even more powerful algorithms. This accelerating loop is the very core of his forecast.
Okay, but if this feedback loop is so powerful, why aren't we at AGI already? Well, despite all of this incredible progress, Legg points to a fundamental gap in today's AI. You could almost call it an AI senior moment, and it's the main hurdle between us and true AGI.
Think about it this way. AI right now has 2 kinds of memory. There's its working memory, the context window. It's fast and fluid for the current conversation, but it's tiny and forgets everything instantly. Then there's its long-term memory, the knowledge baked into its weights from training. It's vast, but it's learned incredibly slowly. There's this huge gaping hole right in the middle.
And that missing piece is what we call episodic memory. It's the ability to learn a specific fact right now, like someone's name, and recall it tomorrow. It's the bridge between that fleeting working memory and that slow, deep learning. And today's AI models are, frankly, terrible at it.
Now, this is the crucial point. Legg argues this is an architectural problem. It's not some fundamental law of physics that AI can't do this. It just means we can't solve it by simply making our current models bigger. It requires a fundamentally new design, a new way of thinking about how AI learns and remembers.
So if that's the big hurdle, how do we clear it? What's the solution? Well, despite the challenge, Legg is actually very optimistic. He sees clear research paths that are already being worked on to bridge this memory gap and solve the other remaining challenges.
He lays out 3 key areas. First, building new memory architectures specifically for that rapid episodic learning, kind of like the hippocampus in our own brains. Second, integrating powerful search and reasoning, so AI can do more than just mimic data. It can actually problem solve and be creative. And finally, achieving full multimodality, getting AIs to learn from video, audio, and other senses to build a truly grounded understanding of our world. And this quote really sums it all up perfectly. He just sees difficult engineering and research problems that he believes are ultimately solvable and likely to be solved within the next few years. So what's the big takeaway? Legg's forecast forces us to stop thinking of AGI as distant science fiction and start treating it as a plausible, near-term reality. The question is no longer just if it will happen, but what it means for all of us when it does.